I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. And tonight it will be the stars and cars of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup, making our inaugural broadcast visit to one of the newest venues on the iRacing platform, and we are excited. Kern County Raceway Park, a half-mile facility with 12 to 14 degrees of banking, located in Bakersfield, California. Talking to some of the drivers in the pre-race, this one is going to be spectacular. Derek Thorne, the track record holder here, at least of the best that I can figure anyway, with a 17.521 second lap set back in 2014 in an SRL Series super late model. Bad fast this place is. Oh, I cannot wait to show it to everybody. Field is out on the racetrack for qualifications, and this is a crazy field that we have here tonight. Let's pick up Thomas Lewandowski here and get you a look at Lewandowski as he is. Well, let's see. Looks like we're having a bit of an issue here with the iRacing software. There we go. We'll pick up Brian Elmore as he is out on the racetrack, currently fourth quick in qualifications. Good Lord, that'll give you a little bit of a panic. Let's see. Pick up Jeffrey Stanton, who is also out on the racetrack. Well, let's see. At least it's telling us that Jeffrey's out there. Let's see. All right. Well, it looks like we're getting a little bit of some pushback here from the graphics software here tonight, but Brett Elmore going to move to the top of the speed charts here in qualifications with a lap time of 16.209 seconds. An absolute heater of a lap from Brett Elmore. So let's try this. Let's try let's do the full reset here on the graphics, and then we'll get you everybody up to speed here. Mitch Drevnovsky moving to the top of the speed charts here in qualifications with a lap time of 16.146. Second quick, Jeffrey Stanton, Derek Love, Larry Pace, and Josh Batista, in a field that has a strength of field of 4474. We actually split tonight and had 32 cars on the entry list. Ron Hart is on the racetrack working his qualification. Andrew Hayes also on the speedway finishing up his qualification run. And let's see. Qualifications have come to a conclusion. There we go. Now everything's going to start to show up appropriately here for us. So let's take a look. And we'll get the front of the field as these guys start to get out onto the speedway. And let's show you tonight's starting grid. Lining up on the pole for this one will be the Coors Extra Gold, number 21 of Mitch Drevnovsky. You must be 21 to enjoy the Coors Extra Gold. If you remember that beer, man, you've been around a whole lot longer than I have. Lining up on the outside of row number 1. New look this week for the Napa Auto Parts, Rockwell, North Carolina. Entry, the 94, belonging to Jeffrey Stanton. He will be the 8 in your timing and scoring tower here this evening. Row number 2 will see the Street Side Classics, number 3 of Derek Love, lining up alongside of the number 1 of Larry Pace. Row 3 on the grid, the Lean Mean Ream Mopar machine, the number 10 of Josh Batista. It'll be the 20 on the livery of that machine, and alongside will be the number 2, RacyPI.com, number 2 of Tracy Petter. Thomas Lewandowski and the Team Watson Racing setups number 4 going to line up inside of row number 4 alongside of the Grand Poobah of TWRS. That would be Mr. James Watson. Still only about a quarter of a second separating your top 8 here in qualifications. Brian Elmore and Brandon Buckberger will occupy the 5th row for tonight's race as the field gets ready to roll out behind the iRacing safety car. Nick Nebben and Casey Nemitz will occupy row number 6. Neben, in the Race Lab, number 9, lining up alongside of the Western Auto, number 12 of Nemitz. Ron Hart in the Michigan Go Blue, number 11. Ron, I'm a Penn State guy, man. I'm sorry, brother. We'll show you a little love here tonight, maybe. Lining up alongside of Andrew Hayes in the 14. That will be row number 7 here this evening. Row 8 will have Zach Evans in the meat find, number 15, alongside of the Hot Wheels, number 16 of Jason Palmer. 16 cars on the grid for tonight's 100-lap feature event. We talked about the progressive banking, about 8 degrees of banking down the straightaways here as well. That's part of what's going to make this such a fantastic challenge for these drivers. As the field's going to make their way through turns 3 and 4 off the final corner. Green flag goes in the air. We are underway here at Kern County. Drevnovsky going to hold the race lead. Love, oh baby, almost a little bit of contact into Stanton up on the outside. Oh, man, and a big shuffle for Stanton. Oh, hold on to it, D-Lo. Wow, wild ride off of turn number 2 for Derek Love. He's going to be able to hold on to it, but he falls back in the pack ever so slightly. As we are already working lap number 3. Good Lord, this place is quick. Oh, man, Nemitz. Oh, hold on to it. Oh, Nemitz is going to go around in turns 3 and 4. Caution flag is out. Trouble for the first time here tonight, and it will happen on lap number 3. Trouble for Casey Nemitz. Take a look here at the NRN instant replay. See what happened. Almost into the back of Buckberger. Has to grab the brakes ever so slightly. Car just spins around to the outside of turn number 4. Nemitz going to be able to get that car back out facing the right direction. Unfortunately for Nemitz, though, he is going to head to the back of the field. Slide up a little bit forward here. Pick up Derek Love. He is running in the 7th position. D-Love taking a wild ride off of turn number 2. Car just got loose out from under him on lap 2. He slides back to position number 7. Mitch Drevnovsky will be the race leader here as they work lap number 6. And this one's going to be a little bit interesting because if you're going to run the wall all the way around this place through 3 and 4 to prevent somebody from getting to the outside, you're taking a really long way around this place. Hopefully this thing settles in. We heard a couple of conflicting things in the pre-race that this was either going to be an absolutely fantastic race or we could see a fair bit of caution. And here's what we were talking about. You're not all the way up against the outside wall. You are able to be passed on the outside before the start-finish line. As Drevnovsky grabs the loud pedal, we go back to green flag racing. Tracy Petter thought about the outside move on Stanton into turn number 1, maybe a little bit of a crossover attempt. Nothing there either. Stanton now going to work his way back in towards the race leader. As many as 4 potential grooves could be in play here tonight as well. We'll see how that's all going to shake out over the course of this one. Jeffrey Stanton starting to make the look on Mitch Drevnovsky for the race lead. Take a look. Let's go on board here with Jeffrey Stanton. Having a look inside of Drevnovsky into 3. Oh, buddy, that is tight off the corner. Stanton again going to be able to make the look. Maybe. Drevnovsky going to get the good drive off the corner, though. Oh, that is so tight through 3 and 4. And here comes Tracy Petter as well, that 2 machine, having the look up the outside. And Josh Batiste is going to be right there as well. Jeffrey Stanton is going to be burning up the tires a little bit here on this thing, trying to get around Mitch Drevnovsky for the race lead. Oh, Drevnovsky bounces it off the wall. Where did we lose Tracy Petter to? How about this? 3-wide battle for the race lead. Oh, my goodness. These guys are flying here around this place. Already 15 laps in the books. Drevnovsky falling back to 3rd, and he's going to have to contend with Josh Batista. 2 by 2 at the front of the field. Stanton now has that preferred outside lane, but it's going to be Tracy Petter at the line, picking up lap number 1, led for the number 2 machine here this evening. Drevnovsky slides back to the 4th position. 5th place, Larry Pace is going to be right there as well. He's carrying the number 1 plate as an 8574 I-rated driver. We mentioned it a minute ago, 4474 is the average SOF for this show. My goodness. Top 9 all going to be fairly nose to tail. A little bit of a gap now back to Nick Neiman in the 9th position. James Watson holding on to 8th. At the front, Petter, Stanton, Drevnovsky, Batista, and Pace, the top 5. Oh, buddy, Jeffrey Stanton already seeing that car start to twitch around a little bit. He's not quite going to be close enough to make an attempt on the race lead. Let's slide back here to the 2nd pack that is formed up as well. That's going to be Brandon Buckberger just coming around Brian Elmore in the battle for the 10th position. Ron Hart, Casey Nemitz, Andrew Hayes, Zach Evans, all going to be in that one. Jason Palmer right on the edge of being in contention in that 2nd pack. Slide forward, we'll pick up Josh Batista. Already talked to him a couple of times in the Victory Lane interviews at the end of these shows early in the season. Batista having a nice run thus far. A little bit of a shakeup after last week's race in the point standings. Derek Love moves to the top of the board with 1,107 points. But it's only going to be about 44 points. Back to Brandon Buckberger in the second position. D. Love in 6 starts, 4 wins, 5 top 5s, 3 poles. Buckberger has 8 starts on the season, of which he won both of them. That's what has Buckberger towards the top of the charts here. Thomas Lewandowski is going to be right there. He's in contention as well. A little bit of a bigger gap back to Jeffrey Stanton in 4th and Tracy Petter in the 5th position. 6 through 10 in the points at this point of the season. James Watson, Brent Elmore, Vic Aldrich, Joe Gauthier, and Laura Gerhardt. Derek Love trying to make the move inside of the one of Larry Pace through 1 and 2 that time as we are already working lap number 26. Oh, one car bouncing it off the outside wall down the front straightaway. May have been Jeffrey Stanton and Josh Batista kicking the dust up. Tracy Petters opened up the lead over Mitch Drevnovsky to about 0.4 of a second. It's another half second back to this fight between Stanton and Batista for the final spot on the podium. As we are now just past the 1/4 distance here, it'll be lap 30 going up on the board this time by. Top 4 have settled down ever so slightly. Let's take a look a little bit further back in the field here. Pick up Ron Hart and Casey Nemitz. Nemitz flying the Western Auto colors, the University of Michigan Go Blue, number 11 of Hart just ahead on the racetrack. Oh, as Hart has the big bobble off at turn number 2. That's going to allow Nemitz to clear high to the outside. I think you're going to see these cars start getting up higher and higher on the racetrack, but you're not going to see them all the way to the outside wall. At least I don't think so. The layout of the facility just isn't overly conducive to it. You get way up high, you're going to be in the marbles, and quite frankly, stuff's going to be flying around. So now 67 laps remaining for your race leader. This is one of the closer battles. Let's slide up a little bit here. Pick up Derek Love, Thomas Lewandowski, and James Watson. They have fallen in right behind Larry Pace. That's going to be 5th through 9th on the racetrack. Kern County, a relatively new facility opening in the 21st century, which is a rarity to see a short track opening up. Some get resurrected from the dead, but not many are entirely brand new facilities. And this has all the bells and whistles of some place that you would expect built, in modern times. All the corporate suites are there. Seating capacity, I believe, can be expanded to 17,000. Great place to see a race, and it puts on a fantastic show. These guys are good here tonight. I am really looking forward to seeing the TNT Shock Series run here at Kern. That one will be coming up. I guess that one will be in the month of December. But the PM18s are going to absolutely fly around here. We got Ethan checking in the comments. Well, I thought we had Ethan checking in the comments. Let's take a look. Had no idea people still race these. I tell you what, it is an active community. 2 splits tonight. Like we said, almost 4,500 SOF. These things put on a great show, and we look forward to bringing all the action every week here on the National Racing Network as we see James Watson making the move inside of Thomas Lewandowski. It's going to move Watson up to position number 7. Oh, buddy, just ahead, Larry Pace and Derek Love are swapping paint off at turn number 2. Love has to jump out of the accelerator. If you look at the progression of the short track D-shaped ovals, you had Richmond that was kind of the first of them, at least at the top NASCAR level anyway. That was 3/4 of a mile, fairly low banked. Then along came the Rusty Wallace designed Iowa Speedway. 7/8 of a mile, fairly high bags. Oh, that's tight. Oh, and there may have been contact. Pace goes around off of 2. Caution flag is out. Just shy of the halfway point. Oh, we're going to have to get a look from the NRN drone on this one. Take a look at the replay. See if there was any contact. I don't think there was any there. Oh, yeah, maybe a little bit. You saw Derek Love get on the brakes. Larry Pace goes around. And it looks like he is going to slot back in line in position number 10. Right behind Brandon Buckberger. So Pace losing a lot of ground, but maybe not. That wasn't the worst it could have been. Up at the head of the field, Tracy Petter has led the most laps here tonight with 32 laps at the point. Started in the 6th position. He's also your hard charger of the night, up 5 after starting on the outside of row number 3. Mitch Drevnovsky, Jeffrey Stanton started on the front row, have done a nice job keeping their race cars up there. Josh Batista has gained 1. Derek Love drops a couple after he almost spun off at turn 2. James Watson up a couple of spots in the 6th position after starting about the mid-pack. The most positions dropped at this point in the race is the number 13 of Brian Elmore. That car down 5, running in the 14th position after qualifying in 9th. A lot coming up this week on the National Racing Network. Tomorrow night will be the TNT Shock Series from Twin Ring Motegi. I cannot wait. The Super Speedway race for the PM18 cars in the TNT Shock Series League. And it is open qualifying. So absolutely almost random draw. At least as random of a draw as you can get when you actually run the qualification session. Coming up on Wednesday night, I'm sorry, that race will air 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Coming up on Wednesday will be the Sim Racers Club from Darlington. I'll be down in Martinsville, Virginia, working the NASCAR race this weekend. We'll have the play-by-play on that one coming up Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern as the green flag goes back in the air at lap number 50. It'll be cross flags next time by for race leader Tracy Petter. Oh, man. Stanton may have clipped the wall off of turn 2 another time. Get back here to Casey Nemitz, Ron Hart, Larry Pace just up ahead of them. Good Lord, Zach Evans has a great view of this battle going on just ahead of him. go on board here with Zach Evans. Follow along with that play. Evans thinking about the move inside on Nemitz in the 12. Nemitz and Hart going to continue to battle here. Man, Evans really gets a lot of drive through the midpoint of the corner. Just loses it all off the corner exit, though. Momentum just not there. It's almost like you have to run that middle line. It's sort of what we're seeing. Even if we slide a little bit up ahead here and pick up Brandon Buckberger, kind of a similar story. Buckberger trying to work his way around Nick Neben. Sliding back to Zach Evans. Looking inside at Casey Nemitz. Evans just not able to clear the pass on corner entry. At this point, we've got one car going around. It's going to be Larry Pace. Pace spins again off of turn number 2. Take a look and see what happened here on the NRN replay. See if Pace got some help. Doesn't look like. Oh, well, maybe. Yes, he did. Wow. Way up in the air goes Ron Hart in the 11. Oh, my goodness. Going on board here with Ron Hart. How did that car not go for a wild tumble down the backstretch? Now it's going to let us pick up your race leader here as we are under caution for the 3rd time tonight at lap number 58. Larry Pace on pit lane. Looks like it may be, well, maybe not. 11.5 seconds on the stop for Larry Pace. So whatever the damage was, he's able to get that handled quickly. Telling you a little bit about the upcoming schedule for the week here on NRN. Sim Racers Club at Darlington, as we mentioned, that's 9 p.m. Wednesday. And that one will have a throwback paint scheme contest attached to it as well. $15, $10, and $5 for the best appearing paint scheme. Throwback paint scheme. We will round out the week with the U.S. Open Wheel Cars making a visit to Willow Springs. And then we'll be right back here on Monday night. Another great racetrack for these Silver Crown cars as we head off to the 2008, I guess it is, version, or the Phoenix version, the old layout of Phoenix Raceway. As lights are out on the iRacing safety car, we will get ready to go back to green flag racing. It'll be 40 laps to go. Tracy Petter, Mitch Drevnovsky, Josh Batista, Jeffrey Stanton, and Derek Love are your top 5. Tracy Petter very quickly back to the loud pedal. He will hold the advantage into turn number 1. Drevnovsky going to have to try to hold off Batista as here comes Derek Love looking inside of Jeffrey Stanton. That's going to put Love up into position number 4. If he can complete the pass, he does. Oh, man. Stanton almost making some contact with Watson at the exit of the corner. Thomas Lewandowski going to be right there as well. He's now looking outside of Watson into 3. Really getting the feel that passing is fairly difficult here, as we're seeing a lot of cars having the handle start to go away. Nick Neben starting to make his presence known as well, up in position number 8. Tracy Petter, Mitch Drevnovsky once again, very quickly on the restart, able to open up a pretty sizable gap, call it about 0.4 of a second, back to Josh Batista in the third position, maybe 4 car lengths as they make their way off of turn number 2. We've seen this before this season, though. Batista keeping himself out of trouble, first and foremost, and possibly saving a little bit of tire. Trying to keep those Hoosiers underneath these machines is not always the easiest of tasks. Taking a look at the weather conditions, just about perfect. 72-degree ambient temperature, 88-degree track temperature. Fairly breezy with 11-mile-an-hour winds out of the northwest. Drevnovsky right there and continuing to hound Tracy Petter. Drevnovsky looking inside. If he grabbed the lead, it was a cup of coffee off of turn number 4 as Petter able to claw back and pick up the lap lead at the start-finish line. But Drevnovsky's going to keep that 21 machine way down to the inside. Trying to make it work, and this battle is bringing Josh Batista to the party. Approaching 25% remaining. It'll be 25 laps to go and just a handful here. 30 to go this time by. It'll now be 29 as they cross the start-finish line. Battle for the lead still hot and heavy. Drevnovsky just not able to get around Petter. That inside lane is so inviting. But it's almost like you're going to have to try either the bump and run or just forcing the issue, and sometimes 8 tires stop better than 4. As Petter covers off the inside lane exiting turn number 2. Batista really sails it off into 3 that time. He's making up ground, and he is the fastest car on the racetrack for the 5-lap average. Oh, Petter may have clipped the wall, may have made some contact with Drevnovsky. Drevnovsky able to get inside. Can he clear him through 3 and 4? Oh, a little bit of almost a slider. At the line, it's going to be Tracy Petter picking up his 61st lap lead of the night. Drevnovsky still doesn't have Petter clear. Little bit of a slide exiting the corner. Man, now they're going to really have to start to worry about Josh Batista as Petter again scraping the outside wall. Just back behind Derek Love, Jeffrey Stanton battling amongst themselves. But the fight at the lead is so intense, they're making up ground. Oh, that's tight at the start-finish line. What a show at the front of the field here for the iRacing Silver Crown Cup. I told you like Kern County. And if you don't like this, watch something else. Short track racing at its absolute finest. Drevnovsky again looks inside. He's trying to force Petter up the racetrack. Oh, Petter again clips the outside wall. Drevnovsky able to clear. He grabs the race lead. Here comes Josh Batista looking inside. Tracy Petter thought about trying to force the issue high exiting 4. We've already seen one 3-wide battle for the race lead here tonight. Now inside of 20 laps to go, Drevnovsky able to hold the top spot. Josh Batista may have to get to work because it took Drevnovsky a solid 15 laps to get around Tracy Petter. Top 3 have settled down. They are single file. 4, 5, 6 are also single file at this point. Let's slide back here. Pick up Thomas Lewandowski and Brandon Buckberger battling for position number 8. We're going to have Casey Nemitz, Ron Hart, and Zach Evans not too far back. All at about 0.6 of a second between Buckberger and Nemitz. When the SOF is this high, you have got to earn every point you possibly can. Buckberger will absolutely be disappointed if this is a 9th place finish here this evening. At the front, after being able to clear Tracy Petter, Mitch Drevnovsky has opened up a gap of almost half a second. Good side-by-side duel here for the 13th position as well. Larry Pace has a used up number 1 machine. Battling hot and heavy here with Brian Elmore. Little bit surprised. Very low attrition here tonight. Nobody is out of the race with 12 laps to go. So as we look back to the front of the field, Tracy Petter and Josh Batista, they're going to battle for position number 2 with only 10 short laps remaining here. These cars, even now, faster than the super late model track record held here by Derek Thorne. And with 9 to go, it would be a very short battle. If we even do get a caution flag late in this race. Might be the only hope here, though, for Tracy Petter and Josh Batista, as it'll be 7 laps to go, this time by the start-finish line. And Petter again into the outside concrete retaining wall. Oh, buddy, Josh Batista drifting off the corners. I hear that's popular in Southern California. Well, among other places. Now it's going to be 5 laps to go for Mitch Drevnovsky. Tracy Petter will claim the lap leader award for the night, having led 65 circuits. But Mitch Drevnovsky looks like he could be on pace to lead the most important one, as we're down to 4 to go. The lead now almost 1 second for Mitch Drevnovsky over Tracy Petter. See if Josh Batista is going to have anything. Man alive, the sprint cars are going to be fun to watch here tomorrow night as well. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Mitch Drevnovsky has been really, really good here tonight. Off of turn number 4, twin checkers in the air, and Mitch Drevnovsky gets the win at Kern County Raceway Park. Tracy Petter, Josh Batista side by side at the line. But position number 2 will go to Tracy Petter. As your top three get out onto the front straightaway for the photos and burnouts, let's take a look at your race results here this evening. Mitch Drevnovsky, your winner by nearly 1 second over Tracy Petter. Josh Batista, Jeffrey Stanton, and Derek Love complete your top 5. James Watson, Nick Neben, Brandon Buckberger, Thomas Lewandowski, and Ron Hart back through position number 10. The remainder of your field here this evening: Casey Nemitz, Zach Evans, Brian Elmore, Jason Palmer, Andrew Hayes, Larry Pace finishing in the 16th position after some early struggles out there on the racetrack.
You got an elephant. I got space. Send me smoke signals. You got weed.
Let's bring in Josh Batista, our third place finisher here tonight. And Josh, you had an absolutely fantastic view of the fight between Mitch and Tracy just ahead of you, but it seemed like it was really difficult to get a pass completed here. Was that what you were seeing behind the wheel?
To a slight extent, I'd say so. There was definitely 2 lines tonight. At least I felt like I could really make that bottom line red against the paint work for the most part, but I just did not have the drive off like Tracy and Mitch did for 3/4 of that race, I'd say.
Is that just boiling down to a gearing issue, or is that something more kind of setup specific to this racetrack?
I'd lean towards the setup specific. I think everybody, ran the same gear. I already forget what gear we were running. I think it was the 43. But, yeah, I'd say definitely lean on the setup side for that.
Well, it was a great show you guys put on here tonight, and quite frankly, going to be a good one in the points here for you as well, because you're going to be sneaky in this thing. You're all basically 2 weeks behind, so until we see the drop weeks start to hit, we're not going to have an accurate gauge of where you are points-wise. How are you feeling like the season is going, and do you think you could possibly contend for a podium spot in the championship?
Oh, that's what I'm trying to aim for, I guess, kind of deal. Not really looking at the title specifically. I just want to have fun and race hard with these guys and enjoy every week that I can, and put on a good show for you guys too.
Well, hey, man, it's been fantastic thus far. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us. And before we let you go, make sure you do all the sponsor plugs and thank yous here too.
Yeah, I gotta thank Reem and Jeffrey painting the car. You guys for putting on the broadcast. Actually, Jeffrey again for the setup too, because setup he sent me tonight was actually really darn good on the bottom. I found at least, but just didn't have that drive off. But keep working at it for the first race at Kern. I thought it was amazing. So,
yes, I would agree with you on that. A fantastic show, Josh. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us. And now let's talk to our race winner tonight, Mitch Drevnovsky. Man alive, it seemed like you had just a fantastic battle up front with Tracy. What was the difference, do you think? Because once you were able to get clear, the car obviously was a little bit better on outright pace, but it was not easy to get around Tracy either.
No, it definitely wasn't. He's a hell of a racer, and that was a hell of a battle, I think. I hope it was as fun to watch as it was to be a part of it, but it's really just tough to pass here, and everything I've driven here so far. It hasn't been out too long, but just you try to get to the bottom, and then that guy has the momentum on the outside. So he was able to hold me off there for a couple laps, and I could see his car starting to get away from a little bit, especially off two. I think I had good drive off there, and so I tried to set up the move, and I think he got into the wall a little bit on the front stretch, and that helped me just get clear of him. And once I was able to do that, kind of took his lane away up top, and then they got to battling behind me, and then I was able to just hit my marks and try to pull away.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to require a mistake from somebody, and Tracy is not one that you would ordinarily expect to see a mistake out of. How difficult is that to try to force that issue without crossing the line into screwing up the event for you and him?
Yeah, me and him race together quite a bit, and we kind of know our limits, and we won't ever get into each other unless one of us makes a mistake. And I was trying to give him all the room I could with just giving him as little as I could at the same time, and I think that's what he was doing. And I was trying to just drive it in deep, getting into the corner, and trying to get my nose ahead and slide up just a bit and try to take his line away a little bit. And I knew maybe if we could get a yellow and I had my nose out front that I could restart in the lead and hopefully try to pull away like I did there at the end. But I think what helped me big time was him falling off a little bit. I don't know what he had left in his car, but my car still, it actually was better towards the end than it was in the beginning. It fired off good in practice, and then beginning of the race it was a little bit tight, so I took some weight jacker out of it and started playing with the lanes a little bit and found some speed. So yeah, it was tough to get by him, but I think we both raced each other clean and had a hell of a battle.
Yeah, it was. And that was actually going to be my last question for you was, how do you develop a setup for a place like this? Now, granted, it's been out on the platform for a little while, but the first time bringing the Silver Crowns here, that's not necessarily an easy thing to do, is trying to work out. I mean, it's almost like it's an overgrown Iowa, but it drives a little bit like Rockingham. There's a lot of different possible baseline directions that you can go when you try to build a setup for here.
Yeah, it is a pretty unique track. It has some characteristics of a couple different tracks. Like you said, it's like a Rockingham, like an Iowa, like a Richmond. It's got that shape, but it also kind of reminds me a little bit of New Smyrna, because you can go down into one and you'll run that middle lane, and then 3 and 4 you can make the bottom work or the middle. So there's a lot of different possibilities. I think I maybe started with the Richmond set, or maybe they might have made a Kern set, and I think we did a little bit of testing here during week 13. Just all the guys got together and ran some laps, and I had something built up from then, so then I hopped in here and made a couple changes that I thought would work, and luckily it did. It didn't fire off as good as I hoped, but I was able to play with the weight jacker and find a couple different lines that worked. So yeah, it was tough, but the set was pretty good and it worked out.
Well, the set was very good because that car was blazingly fast when you're able to get it out front. Congratulations on the win here, Mitchell. And before we let you go, make sure you do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, I got to thank EPI and you guys for doing the broadcast, and all the guys that come in and race, because, you know, we only get to do this a couple times a week, and when we do get in here, we have some awesome races like that, and everyone's respectful, so it's a good time. So just everyone that helps me out, you guys for doing the broadcast, and everyone for coming, showing up and racing.